in this session of Coffee Break Saturday, organized by My Startup Yatra in association with Early Birds Club Private Limited. So, My Startup Yatra and Early Birds Club are working towards motivating startups, motivating entrepreneurs, motivating like-minded people, and people who are motivated enough to be in that journey. And what happens? We do know that internet can give you informations and people can give you informations out of blues that okay, you do that, you'll finally reach your destination. But how? No one tells us how. And if we have much of informations, we always distract. We don't have the exact amount of quality answers. So yes, we are on the path of making a fabulous journey of making our India, making globally, in fact, entrepreneurs and startups to make the best out of it. So today with this quote, I am Saikat, all the way from UK, director of Alibar's Club, and also a director of My Startup Yatra, and of course the co-founder with Priyadarshi. I'm sure Priyadarshi is here, and thank you, Priyadarshi, for making this happen. We all welcome Mr. Utkarsh Sen. So yes, before Mr. Utkarsh can say anything, so I would to say something about him. So Utkarsh Singh is CEO of Batex Energies, who believes in and practice lateral thinking, innovation, creativity, concise, and effective communication. Work in multiple CSR projects. So, welcome, Utkarsh.
Nice. Thank you so much, Sakit. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Utkarsh, the first thing,
Right.
the first question is not a question. So, as the first interaction, you know, uh,
Hmm.
so. Uh, Before that, sorry, we are really sorry. Before that, I would love to, welcome two important guests here. So one is Professor Devendra Singh, who is CEO of ACIC BMU and founder Proper Innovation Incubation, and also Dr. Vinay uh, Nangia, who is a startup mentor, banker, finance professor. Oh my God, he is like a kind of huge respect from us. So we will try to learn so many things from you, both of you, sir. And thank you so much, and thank you so much from all of you, all of us, to be here, and it's our pleasure.
Thank you.
So Utkarsh,
Thank you.
thank you so much, sir. So Utkarsh,
Yeah.
so can you just tell us how you are here and why you are here?
Okay.
Like is
Okay. That's
why Betrix and why startup and why entrepreneurs?
okay. So, before, answering to the questions and, going forward in the complete session, I would like to set some tone. So I'm going to keep it very informal. I'm going to bring everything out from my heart. You definitely don't get a lot of chances where as an entrepreneur, you get to, share your feelings, because every time you have to, put your suit on and you have to, wear that confidence, and you know so that is where I would be very very interactive today, and I would love everyone, if they have any kind of question and they want to know, so probably they please feel free to ask. So yeah, about what you said, why we are here and how we are here. So the answer to that is very very simple. Why we are here? Because we have a purpose. Okay, we as an entrepreneur, the very basic thing that is important is the drive
Correct.
and the purpose.
Correct.
So if you are starting up within any kind of, startup or anything, you will only be able to succeed if you have a purpose.
Perfect.
So, so in our company, Batex Energies, I'll give little bit introduction about Batex Energies actually before starting up. So, Batex Energies, we are a materials company. We are into the production of uh, critical materials which are used in the lithium ion batteries, and we are doing it in a very very sustainable way, that is by recycling these batteries. So you would know, even every day you interact with a lithium ion battery here or there. Okay, be it in your mobile phone, in your laptop, or in your if you're driving an electric car, which are rapidly going to come into the market. So we are a company who's taking care of the complete, supply chain and making sure that this supply chain is not linear. It's a circular supply chain, because the only way that the world is going to exist, for the longest period is through circularity. Otherwise, it doesn't seem possible, because the way humans are using their, materials, make, take, and waste. So that is not going to happen. You should start, again, utilizing the waste in processing. So be it, if it is a waste for someone, it can be a resource for me. So that is where, that with that thought process, Vikrant and I, we both started with this vision. Okay, we are going to collect all the waste from the, country or the globe, wherever we can find a hazardous
Hmm.
lithium ion
Hmm.
waste, and we are going to extract those materials and again put it back into the system where it can be used for again and again, infinite, times. So that is what I was talking about, the purpose.
Correct.
So we both as co-founders, we had the purpose that whatever we are going to do, we are going to give it back to the society. Our business should be developed in that direction. And at the same time, we realized India doesn't have its own capability because we don't have the minds to develop these batteries.
Correct.
And it is a need of the hour, to switch to, electric mobility, to switch to get away from, fossil fuels, because we are already dependent for fossil fuels on different
Perfect.
countries. It's
Yes.
a huge, import. So so that is where, we coined this idea. Okay, the only way India can have its own, sustainable materials, and we can be, independent from, from different countries, to develop our own batteries, is through recycling. So that is where we started this business. And the journey has been so good. I mean, I would say, if I have to say it in a line, you know uh, so an entrepreneur doesn't live 24 hours a day. Okay, he lives 36 hours a day.
Correct.
We are not living just for 24 hours, because 24 hours is very, very less for us. So we work so hard, we work with such dedication, that at least in a day we cover up time of 36 hours. And that is where a startup is differentiated from different, big corporates, because there's a particular mindset. They're working 9 to,
Process.
5. Yeah, processes. I mean, a lot of procedures
Yes,
and
all the
everything.
structures are
But
already
here
being
as a
made,
start,
so they just have to work in the structure, and everything will
exactly.
be, done in simultaneous way. But in startup, I think you have to do it.
And hmm, exactly, you have to do it. See, I won't say that structure and procedures are wrong. I would say
But that's
structure
good.
and procedure is very much
Hmm.
important. But the innovation should happen in the procedures. For example, just, to purchase something, there is, let's say, 10
Hmm.
processes, but those are not required right now. Probably if you are going to innovate it, you can maintain the same, quality of your, teamwork, and you can do it pretty quickly.
Correct.
So the optimization is very much important in today's time. So that is where, startups get lead. So my suggestion to everyone, who's even thinking to start, or is on the verge of, of starting up. So they should always work on how they can optimize the work and maintain the quality. That is what we practice in
Correct.
Batix.
And also, when we speak about startups, so you have to be in a front foot of every time. Like every time, you have to be in front foot, because either of the way, you have two kind of products that is already being in the market or it's new. So for both of them, you have to work hard, because if it's already in the market, that means you have to compete. If it's new, that means you have to
Hmm.
make the learning curve more great. You have to make your customers learn about what is it exactly, and how it can make change. So yes, of course, thank you so much for the answer, Utkarsh. And uh,
Right.
the first thing that comes in my mind, yeah, as you said, that sustainability, and we have to search about future generation, future aspect of how the world is shifting. As a person, like I am doing my research in energy and climate change. So I know that what is the need of the hour right now, because as COP26 just went out right now, and India promised that by 2070 we will be like a net zero country. So for going
Right.
towards net zero, I mean, think entrepreneurs and startup like you are morely invented and morely needed by India.
Yeah.
because shifting towards EV, shifting towards renewables, shifting towards innovation, that is the more
Hmm.
need. Because if we don't have infrastructure, as I'm saying that okay, we have EV, we don't have infrastructure for charging, we don't have batteries as you are making, so how can we shift? So I think I can give, I can tell everyone that okay, this is the main hour to shift in towards innovation and make the 2070 target more greener. And yes, of course, Utkarsh, through greener and innovation, what is the exact innovation that comes in your mind when you thought that okay, I will bring every scraps, every unwanted metals or batteries, lithium together, and I'll make it. So what was motivation and innovation at that point of time?
Okay. So, like, I would connect it with the last answer only, the purpose. So, our purpose was very, very clear. Both Vikrant and I mean, purpose was very much clear that whatever we are going to do, it should be on the lines of giving back to the
Hmm.
society. Okay. And now the challenge was to figure out the idea. Okay. So, the story behind the idea is very, very interesting. So my partner and I, we have come from same college, BML Munjal University. It's a fabulous college. We got a lot of opportunities there. So Vikrant is totally from the tech mindset.
Correct.
We both are
Uh-huh.
engineers though, but it is not necessary that being an engineer you have to just work in the
Correct.
technology. I think engineering is more about developing that mindset, that jugaad mindset. I would say if you are in India, I would say that jugaad
And
mindset.
right now,
It
Jugaad
is
has been
about
added in the
that.
Oxford Dictionary, so you can say anywhere.
Exactly. I think that is something that comes from India because jugaad. So when does a jugaad come, right? Jugaad comes when there is a
Hmm.
necessity, right? And there are not enough
Resources.
resources to fulfill that necessity. That is where the jugaad comes, right? And I think in engineering in India is like that, right? It's like it develops your mindset in a
Yes.
way that you're able to figure out and implement solution much before than other people in the world.
World.
That is why the Indian engineers are leading everywhere in the world, be it CEOs of big corporates and anywhere. That is the reason I personally believe. So yeah, that's what I was saying. So Vikrant was totally from the tech background, and I was totally from the business with the business
Hmm.
mindset. So we both met. Their team was building electric vehicle for a racing competition, which happened across the country for at a college level.
Hmm.
So they wanted to purchase a lithium ion battery, and I was helping them out with the sponsorship.
Hmm.
And that is where they told us, okay, we want to buy a lithium ion battery. So we went out in the market and bought the battery, which was like of 80,000 rupees. Okay, and in today's time that battery cost is 20,000 rupees. So can you
So
believe
much
at that
difference.
time, like this is, I'm talking 5 years back, how expensive the battery was? And that is where the idea clicked why it is so expensive. So the topic, the main thing is to become an entrepreneur is the very simple word, and that is why. Why is this wrong? Why is this like this? So if you start and questioning
Yes,
yourself,
correct.
questioning the concepts, and start using the word
Hmm.
why, I think there can never be, a problem for you to get, to identify problems. You will never face a challenge in identifying problem. In India, in the world, there are million and billions of problems which are not yet
Uh-huh.
solved. So that is where I was saying we got, we questioned ourselves why it is so expensive. And the answer to it, just to find the
Hmm.
answer, it is where we are today,
Yes. Yes.
why it is so expensive. And it was because India doesn't have its materials to build the lithium ion batteries which can be used in electric
Hmm.
vehicles, which can be used in mobile phones or laptops. So we started working, we started doing our research. We were fortunate enough that we were at BMU,
Hmm.
because at BML Munjal there's a very good research lab. It's a global level research lab. So we got access
That's a
as
great thing.
students, and we started developing. So our initial idea was we will develop a lithium ion cell.
Hmm.
Okay, which in itself is a $1 billion market. But then later we realized, uh, that this is not commercially possible right now unless and until you have the, material, hold on the materials. So we started working that how we can get the material. So we even tried and, reaching out to few government agencies and talk to them, okay, if we build a cell, can you help us with the material? So nothing positive came out. So we realized, okay, we are going to go around the country, collect all the scrap and take out the material from it and then build a lithium ion cell.
That's good. That's good.
So, so one more point here is that your startup may not be the first idea that you thought
Hmm.
about, but it evolves.
Correct.
So the main point is starting up.
Get started with
That
the
is what
idea.
we did. Yeah, we started with the idea. We started, working on the cell. We didn't know that, this will work out or not, but eventually with the time, with meeting a lot of people, a lot of, uh, 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 mentors, like Dr. Nangia, Dr. Devinder. So like that, the idea kept on evolving, and that is where we believe that, we are in the right space at the right time, because in India there are around 4 to 5 companies only,
Hmm.
who are processing this, and we are the only company in India who's totally dedicated on this problem. There are other companies who have diversified for this thing, but in India we are the only one who's fully dedicated, as a startup. And I think Vikrant and I, we are the youngest people in this domain to work it out. All are very big
Perfect.
companies, but so we are fortunate enough.
In fact, as we see that the global shift is towards like zero emissions and shifting towards EVs. So
Hmm.
people like you and
Hmm.
company and startups like you are
Hmm.
much needed, much needed. So I think you are motivating
Great.
our entrepreneurs, you are motivating our startup buddies and co-founders enough. So we are very, very,
Yeah.
very pleased to have you right now. And the second
Right.
most important question is, what is the exact uh, obstacle that you faced that was very, very, very keen for you to set like a setback to you? That is
See,
like, okay, that's an obstacle that
okay.
we can't
So I would,
face.
I so I would say never ask this question to an entrepreneur. What obstacle? He'll start crying. So if I
So we
if
know
I
the we
start
know the
talking
pain
about
point,
the
so we always know the pain point, we all.
yeah. So if you'll ask about the obstacle, I'll describe. I'll give it a creative, formula. You okay? So if you ask me like a obstacle versus success, so I would say it is 500 is to 1. 1 is the
Uh-huh.
success and
The
500 is the
obstacle.
obstacle. So, we face around 500 obstacles, and for that, facing those, if we get success, that is a one small
Hmm.
success. But that small success is so motivating. It is so ambitious. It is so powering that it gives us power to, face another 500 obstacles. So even in our daily lives, as an entrepreneur, we face, a lot of obstacles as an entrepreneur. If you talk, if you ask me, I can give you, 2 or 3 examples.
Yes, yes, please.
What obstacles we have faced. These are good stories. So the top one story is, I'll just give 1 or 2 stories
Hmm.
actually. So what the top one story is, there was a time, when so there was a very big company. Okay, so initially, to come to this point, okay, we needed some funds. Okay,
Funding, yeah. Hmm.
to develop our own whole recycling facility, we needed some funds. So we thought, we don't have funds, let's do something. We know the lithium ion technology very well. Let's start making the batteries and selling it to the market. Okay, because we thought that will give us immediate revenue.
Revenues, correct.
So there was a time for 1 year we were developing the batteries and selling. So I remember very well. There was this night, where 4 of us went home. There was a team of 7, 8 people, and there was an order from a very big company. Okay, who wanted 4 battery packs as a sample, and if it was, if it was successful,
Hmm.
so we would have got an order for, more than 20 cr. So we were very excited as a startup that it will change our fortune. And we have been working on developing the battery for 2-3 weeks. And the deadline was, we already missed the deadline. And no matter what, we had to send the, dispatch the batteries. So I remember it was like we were working for 2 days non-stop. And there was a time, there was a point where it was like after working for 48 hours, nobody has taken, a longer break. At 5 a.m., everybody started getting fever.
Oh my God.
So we four people who were working, and everybody started feeling feverish, right? The body temperature went up, but we didn't stop. Vikrant and I, we always keep, talking about that point of time where we were standing outside, of the factory and just thinking,
Hmm.
this is the real motivation to get to startup. So whenever we feel low, we think of those
Those
times
times.
that, no matter whatever obstacle comes, just keep going. So the motivation has to be so hard that, don't stop, keep going. You will figure it out. If you have that in your mind, or in your heart, that you will figure it out. So I think mind is more for taking the
Uh-huh.
decision and heart is more for the motivation. So keep your mind and heart both strong,
Strong.
and I think you'll never fail as an entrepreneur.
I think the journey of
So
an
this was one
entrepreneur,
of the example
yes,
here.
as you said, a journey of an entrepreneur is itself a motivation.
Hmm.
So when you
Right.
get back to a position where you supposed to be, so you always
Hmm.
remember those parts which make you or which made you strong enough. So
Hmm.
yes, I think
Right.
yeah. So what is the main hurdle for funding? How you get the funding,
Oh.
initial funding, and because see, everyone comes around with the money. Okay, how will you get the money, how will you start?
Hmm.
So how you got the money,
Hmm.
how will you start? Because as you
So,
will say this this path or parameter, many will follow,
hmm.
so yes, we want to know.
No, definitely. I think if there is someone who's struggling with the funding and think that funding is needed, so because we have been, for last 6 months, we have been, raising constantly back to back funds, and we are again in the process to, raise more funds. So I would say funding is more of a, if to give it a word, I would say it's more about the conviction. I'm talking about the early stage
Hmm.
funding.
Hmm.
Okay. So I'm right now just talking about the early stage funding because I think the early stage startups will be here or the people, entrepreneurs will be here.
Hmm.
So the early age, early stage funding is about the conviction and about the entrepreneurs. And the third one is the idea. Okay. It's not about how much you have done. It's not about, what, I'm just sharing my personal views.
Correct.
It's not about, how well your product looks. It's not about, uh, how far you have gone in the startup, but it's about only three things. Conviction, being the most important. Second one is the entrepreneurs, and the third one is what the idea is. So I would say, the initial stage funding, it's about, let's say you have an idea that, you are going to supply the purest, water
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
everyone. That is what your mission is. Ki I want in India, everybody should get pure water to drink,
Hmm.
right?
Yes, correct.
And then it's about how much conviction you have about it, ki you are going to do it. It should be above 100%, that yes, like we say, we are going to be the number one recyclers in India. We are going to be the, biggest material company in India for battery materials, and we totally believe it, and it's a conviction. And it is just the conviction that has got us little bit, so to here, so far, it's about the conviction. And third is the idea, like I told, was not this at the very first day. It has evolved for the best as we went ahead, as we tested
Hit
the
and trial,
market.
hit and trial, validation.
Yeah, yeah, that's about it. And for a startup, I would always suggest never be a single entrepreneur.
Hmm.
Always, do a startup with at least a partner. You should have at least one partner. So the bond between Vikrant and I is so good, and so motivating that it gives it empowers. We keep empowering each other. So that's why we never we never feel demotivated. There has not been a single day where we have slept demotivated.
That's
We were
great. That's
motivated
great.
to wake up again
That's
next
great.
day.
In fact, I think when we have someone or a partner, a
Mm,
co-partner, a co-founder with us, so
mm,
they usually fill the gap of our skills or any
right,
skills that has been needed. Like a person can never
right,
do everything, so he or
right.
she might lag in something, and that lagging or that gap should be
Mm,
filled or might be filled with the person.
mm,
So yeah.
uh-huh,
Moving ahead, see, we all know that we should have MPV, that is minimum valuable product. We should always have the first
uh-huh,
stage product.
right.
Yeah. So
Mm,
what's your viewpoint for all the startups and all the uh, co-founders who are working towards
mm.
green innovation or sustainable management or waste management? How should they come up with the first MPV, and where should they focus on?
Okay. So I think the first MVP, minimum viable product, that's a term that has been, given. The first MVP is about bringing whatever you are saying, whatever you are thinking, bringing it in reality. Okay. Let's say you are going to build a machine who's going to test your heartbeats, will give you the ECG rating of your
Correct.
heartbeats. So right now it's the idea, okay, that I'm saying it's going, I'll do that. And then you coming up with a device saying, okay, this is the device, right, with which you can monitor your ECG. It may not look the best.
Hmm.
It may not look that this is the perfect machine. It should not, but it should. MVP is all about, it should prove the functionality, right? It should prove that whatever you are saying, at least 20 to 30% of it is doing. And how to build the now I think a lot of people would say, okay, to build the MVP I need 30 lakh
Hmm.
rupees, 40 lakh
Hmm.
rupees to build the MVP. No, you should not think of an MVP as a finished product.
Uh-huh.
Think of it as a conceptual level
Correct.
product,
Correct.
which is just doing the functionality. I mean, if you have to build a car, which has a electric, let's say you have to build an electric car, and you want to build the MVP. MVP will not be a fine looking, Ferrari type car. It should have four wheels. It should have the drivetrain. It should have, steering, and it should be able to move and with the safety. Okay. Then the looks and everything can be enhanced. So always try and figure out how you can build the MVP. Yes, if the MVP is very expensive, always go for
Hmm.
collaborations. So you can talk to people, and tell them, okay, I'm going to do this. I can, I'm going to do this. Right now, I don't have the funds, but you have the skill
Hmm.
set or you have the
Machinery.
machinery.
Correct.
Support me right now, and I'm going to, pay it back or give you some kind of equity or whatever,
Correct.
where you can convince the people.
Correct. So I think making on the right track and making on the right way is the most important part. So so whom do you think the initial judgmental or feedback holders or validation person should be? Because I think you made your MVVs.
Always,
Uh-huh.
I would say always the lower level customers, the end customers. Whosoever is your end customer, अगर वो e-rickshaw बना रहे हो, if you are making e-rickshaw,
Hmm.
you should get it tested by the e-rickshaw driver. Okay, not with the company who is automobile
Uh-huh.
company. No, go and get it tested by the e-rickshaw
Driver.
driver and then go to that company. The person who's going to drive it, he should have the comfort. He should give you the, so he will give you the right feedback. So I would say, you should go, and always, never go to one
One
testing.
entity.
Always keep a set of testing, set of, make different subsets, based on your startup idea or the
Hmm.
product, and test it by in different conditions and different subsets.
Okay, so that means you are saying that okay, we should go with the situation, with the surroundings, how the surroundings should be, and the proper environment where we need.
Like you give me an idea of any
Hmm.
product, I'll tell
Hmm.
you how we can get the
Hmm.
testing done.
uh, like we are speaking about batteries, right? So we, with
Hmm.
battery we always have a like it's a concept of
Okay, so
EV.
I'll tell you if it's a lithium ion
Yeah.
battery. Okay, if it's a lithium ion battery, let's say I've developed a lithium ion
Correct.
battery, EV,
Uh-huh.
MVP. So I am going to get it tested by the e-rickshaw. For this is for
E-rickshaw.
e-rickshaw. I'm
Mm.
going to get it tested for e-rickshaw
Hmm.
drivers, which will be here in
Hmm.
Delhi. Then I will go to in the area where the temperature is very high. So I'll
Very
get
high.
it tested in
Correct.
Rajasthan by a
Correct.
driver. Then I'll go to the hilly area where I can see how much battery is drained on the incline. So I'll go to different kind of people. I'll go to people which drive the e-rickshaw in a very heavy market because there has a lot of braking and region, acceleration again. And I'm going to bring all the data together, study and see how I can enhance the performance of my battery.
Oh.
So always keep a different set of people, also see there is a person who's driving the rickshaw for 8
Hmm.
hours, then 10
Hmm.
hours, then 12 hours,
That means the
and
efficiency
also
with the
how he's
time.
charging the battery. Yeah, efficiency, right?
Okay, the efficiency of the time, and of course as you say that that's a beautiful thing, because if we have the data for for regional expenses, for regional calamities or different type of weathers, so we can know that okay, our battery at the minimum position also can work in that in that part or in that level, so we can work on
Yeah, yeah,
further, and we can work further for development and evolution of that battery. So amazing, amazing, Utkarsh.
right,
So uh,
right.
the main point we are speaking is because getting everyone motivated and giving them information how they should get started with your idea
Mm-hmm.
and organization. So
Mm-hmm.
what's your message to the entrepreneurs and who are coming entrepreneurs and wannabe entrepreneurs? So what's your message to them?
My message is very simple, just two words. It's get started. Just don't wait. Get started. If you have to open a, like, there's a very good example that I always, quote
Hmm.
also, which is, I think, by a co-founder of a big, tea brand in
Mm.
India, a tea QSR brand.
Uh-huh.
So he said, I wanted to start a tea QSR brand, right? So one day I had the idea that in India, a lot of people are consuming
Tea.
tea, and there are not enough good
uh, Products or
QSR
something, yeah.
chains which can offer good
Yeah,
tea.
yeah, yeah, correct, correct,
So
correct.
what he did was he said, as soon as I got the idea, I got started. I went to the market, I bought a pan, I bought tea leaves, I bought sugar, I bought milk, and I brought it and I just kept it just in front of me.
Oh my god.
I definitely didn't start making tea and selling tea on that day, but I got the equipment, whatever I
Can.
can, and I kept it for 30 days. Every day I kept procrastinating. Okay, not today, but tomorrow. Not today, but tomorrow. But finally, one day, once I had the equipment, I started. And that is where today this brand is known as Chayos or Chai Point, a very big
Oh,
brand. This is the
amazing,
story of that brand.
amazing.
So, so it's it's about that. If you have an idea and you have done your
Hmm.
research, okay, you have an idea, like this was backed by research. Okay,
Hmm.
in India, there's a lot of people consuming tea and
Hmm.
everything.
Hmm.
It should not be like you have an idea and you'll just start because you have heard somewhere that just start. No, do your research. Like one of my friend, she's starting with this business of you know uh, uh, beauty gadgets.
Beauty gadgets.
Okay, in India, beauty gadgets, right? So there is a huge market of skincare, but again, there is a evolving market which is of skincare tech,
Yes,
handheld
correct,
skincare tech.
correct.
So yeah, so she had that idea, but now it is about doing a lot of research. How many companies exist? There are very few basic questions that how many of competitors are there, how big is the market,
Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
and how quickly you can do it. So there are certain questions, and basis that you should then, once you are clear with the idea, then just jump and get started. That's my answer to that.
Amazing, amazing. So idea came, MPB also came, funding also came. So what are those elements or we can say parameters we should look after for policies or governmental aspect or anything for starting up? Because always we are
Okay.
speaking about technology, we are speaking about business, but we should also speak about how our business should be registered, and what are those small area.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So one thing that we missed after the MVP came and the funding came, there's one more very important thing. Funding comes when you have the validation also.
Mm,
Okay, I made the battery, and with that data, I did the validation. Then only somebody is going to give me the fund. It's not like I go to the investor and keep the battery and say, I have built
yes,
this.
correct.
He said, if you have built this, what you have done with this? Okay, I've taken it to 100 places. I have got it tested over 1 year. And then this is the feedback of people. This is the data. And if you give me fund right now, then I am going to sell this battery to 1 lakh people, 1 million people. So it's about that, so once you have the funding, so before that, if you want to do a startup, and if your mind is clear, I'm just going to tell very practical things. Okay, let's say you want to do the startup. Okay, so just get in touch with any of your friend who's working in the legal, in any of the companies, or he is a legal person. Tell him that I want to secure the name. Okay, just apply for the name. It takes 2,000 rupees to apply for the name. Get the name with you. Okay, you get 1 month of time.
Mhm.
Just keep the name, because at least you're going to block the name right now. Okay,
Yes,
so once you have blocked the name, it is going to be there in your mind. No, no, I have to start
yes,
also. You cannot
it's
think
just
back and
initial
so.
step.
And if you, yeah, even if you don't start, just say okay, I have wasted my 2,000 rupees, but you'll enjoy the process. Okay, like I don't know how many names I have purchased throughout my life.
So how
So
you
many.
came up with
Okay.
BetX?
Okay, so Batex was battery extra. So because we are giving an extra life to the complete battery ecosystem. So that's why we created Batex. But later we realized, so Batex is an abbreviation for the biggest four companies in China. That is Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent, and Xiaomi. The conglomerate of it is known as Batex. So we realize it later, and now there's an internal joke that goes on. We are going to be that big, collaborating all four. so
Amazing,
yeah, that's
amazing.
how it came. So yeah, coming back to that
Mhm.
point where you asked me, how to,
Yeah.
the legal part
Yes,
of it.
perfect.
So one thing I will suggest you, definitely guys, that will work out. Uh, Keep a friend who's into legal. Keep a friend who is a finance professional, be it a CA or anyone in the family. These two people are going to be very helpful for you if you are starting up. This is what I did. No matter, I knew that, okay, or Vikrant and I knew that we were going to start up after 5 years. But 5 years before only we started networking in that circle, where we figured it out. Okay, there's one very good friend who's going to help us, and we kept talking to them. Okay, tomorrow we're going to start. You definitely have to help us. That has really helped us, because those people guide us as if it is their own company. And if you're going to, in future, the difference that I felt, if I go for a consultant and if I go for a very professional service, they're not going to guide you as if it's their own
Company.
company. They'll be thinking about making more money.
Correct.
So always keep these four professional people with you. One is a finance professional, one is a legal professional. Okay, these two are must
Must.
if you're
Hmm.
starting up.
Hmm.
Okay, must. Yeah, I would say that. And apart from that, so secure the name. If you will get 1 month of time, if you're clear enough, okay, I have to get it
Correct.
started. Either either go for a private limited
Hmm.
company, because you are going to raise funds in the future, or go for a partnership firm. But partnership firm, it's very difficult to raise funds. So always go for a
Private
private
limited
limited company
company.
if you're thinking to raise funds. Yeah, so that will help. Registration of a company doesn't take charge, has a huge cost. It is around 20,000 to 25,000 rupees. Somebody will charge you, and he will register the company for you. Apart from that, very two important things. Please go for your DIPPT certificate, that is the Startup Registration, Startup India certificate. That is must. You should have that. And apart from that, you should also have a MSME certificate. That will help you in a lot of
A
ways.
lot of ways.
Okay, and in startup certificate, as you go, ahead,
Hmm.
there are two different kind of forms also, Form A, Form B.
Hmm.
Then you can file those. So you'll get some exemption also from the
So I
government.
think there is a lag between this information, because we all know that okay, we will start a company, we will have an idea, we will go to the organization, we'll do a journey towards NPV, but we don't know those small elements, because those are the small steps and very important steps. So
No, that's why I suggested you. No, that's why I suggested you. Always keep a legal and a finance friend with you.
exactly.
That will help you. And I think Vikrant and I, we both agree to that. Otherwise, we would have wasted a lot of time talking to, paid
Hmm.
consultants and all.
Hmm.
So we saved a lot of time there, and it also gave us a very much confidence. Also, whatever they're telling in our benefit.
So you, as you are working towards green, how you planned your supply chain, because I think supply chain is the most important part, crucial part of your business.
Hmm.
So how you plan the supply chain?
Supply chain, yeah, you're right. Supply chain is the most crucial part. So what we have done is we are working on a system which is called hub and spoke model. So the spoke are the centers per state who are going to source the scrap locally. Okay, let's talk about Odisha. Okay, we set up a spoke in Odisha. So the person will be responsible to scrap the source from all over Odisha, and there we will convert the scrap, the big batteries, into powder, and that powder is going to come to our main facility where we will do the chemical reactions and process, which is in Delhi. So this way we are going to optimize the
Hmm.
cost. This way we are going to do the material movement pretty quickly. At the same time, we are going to create more jobs because we are
Yes.
going to set up different. So that is also a vision of our company, to create more and more jobs, because this is a totally unorganized sector and we are working towards organizing it by keeping circularity in mind. So that's how we have optimized our supply chain. And the scrap is so much, like even in today's time, I would say around 1 lakh ton of metric ton per quarter of scrap is coming
Oh
out.
my god.
Okay, and even if if we recycle 10%, 20% of it, that's going to be huge, material production in India.
Okay. So as,
Like for
mhm.
example, I'll just give you one
Yeah, please.
example.
Hmm.
One electric car, can you imagine how much battery, uh, what weight battery one electric car will have?
How much, like three?
It's 500
Oh my,
kgs.
500 kgs.
Kgs. Imagine, so two car is 1 ton of battery.
Yes.
So when the electric cars are going to come into the play, how much battery will it have? Like a electric bus, how much amount of battery they're consuming. A e-rickshaw has 50 kg of battery. A two-wheeler has 20 kg of battery.
Oh
So
my god.
imagine the huge, scrap that is going to come out. So we are focused on recycling it and
And
recycling the
that
material.
sector is not been touched. That sector is being kept
Hmm.
so much in lonely part, having huge
Yeah.
opportunity. So I think, yeah, as you're speaking about, you are doing uh, green transition, because of course we have many notions around that when we will
Hmm.
have just transition, the transition towards justice.
Hmm.
So we should have the result and optimization of jobs also. So as you're saying that you are
Right.
providing jobs, so that's the just transition phase, and I'm happy to see that the just transition is being happening in my country right now. Because
Yeah.
when I'm speaking about closing fossil fuels and stopping like coal burning and emissions, so
Yeah.
there will be a lot of job missing, right? So there will be a lot of um,
Exactly.
company will be closed, and transportation and all, everything will close, and there will be a huge scarcity of job, and those jobs should be
So
uh-huh.
yeah, so I mean, just to add on this, I mean, to add little bit more
Hmm.
flavors, what you are
Hmm.
saying, I think so. Vikrant and I, we have been very clear about this. It has to be a job creation thing, and what you rightly said, the coal, because a lot of sectors are going to fossil fuel sector, which is a huge sector in India. It's going to
Correct.
be, the job requirement there will be less. So we even started we have from now only we have started an NGO also, which is called as Green Workforce Foundation.
Amazing.
So that foundation is focused on developing the skill set for the green sector that is coming up.
Amazing.
So, once a month, twice a month, we do small
Mm-hmm.
trainings where the professional from all over the place they connect on a Google
Mm-hmm.
Meet, and we give them basic understanding that what is a battery, how it's going to function. So it is developing their mind and skill set. So going forward, we are going to as a company we grow, so we are going to utilize and develop also with our network.
That's a great step. That's a great step. And we, Libers Club and my startup Yatra, are with you every time you need any
Right.
support.
Thank you.
We are with you because company, startup, and NGOs like you are morely needed right now because no one
Right.
knows the future. But exactly the future is coming
Right.
like this. We don't have normal
Right.
jobs. We should have green jobs. Everything will be transition.
Right.
So the transition should be a justice. So that's why you call it the just transition.
Right.
So of course,
Right.
that's an amazing path. And by this question, we are coming towards the end of the session with the
Sure.
amazing talk, amazing explanations. So for the people here,
Thank you.
for the people on online live, I invite you
Sure.
to speak to Utkarsh if they have any question, anything. Just unmute themselves and just speak, and we will be overwhelmed to ask your question if you type in the chat box also.
Yeah, sure. That would be great.
Utkarsh, I am very pleased to see your journey in the last 1 or 2 years, and
Thank you so much.
I'm particularly happy to note that you have NGO to supplement and complement
Right.
your things, which is a very good thing.
Right.
So I wish you all the best. You
Thank you,
did
sir.
very well cover the topic today,
Thank
and
you.
I think let the youngsters ask you the questions now.
Yes, yes.
We have one question in here, Jugal GJ. So what happened to
Mhm.
the 20 crore contract? Have your team got that? So
No, we didn't get it. We didn't get it. So that is again an obstacle that you talked about. We worked so hard, everything happened at the right. I mean, we missed little bit of
hmm
deadline, but again we were able to do it. But when we sent, to be honest, when we sent the battery and they started testing it, it worked fine for 1 week. But after 1 week, the battery started doing some malfunction. It is because from where we purchased the cell, that person didn't supply the good quality cells. Though we did our testing because the timeline was very short. So that is where we see it as a small failure and a learning for us.
yeah.
So, no matter, we again,
So I
started
think learning curve is most
focusing
important.
more on
Yes,
this.
exactly. The learning curve is most important.
Never be demotivated. Never be
So
demotivated.
there's a saying that
So I
never be
think,
dehydrated and then never be demotivated. Always stay hydrated and motivated
yeah.
every time.
I think if there are no questions, I think we have some time. So Vikrant is also here.
Oh,
So
please, please,
if
please.
Vikrant, you want, you can just share quickly, something. I think he'll add very interesting points. Majorly from the technical point of view, how important it is to safeguard your tech, and how what parameters you need to keep in mind if you have a tech startup.
Perfect.
So
Actually, we will
Vikrant,
be
yeah, if you would
overwhelmed.
like to share.
Mr. Vikram, please.
Yeah, I think he's
Yeah, so
already
I'm
on
sorry that
ground.
I'm driving right now. This driving
No
stopped,
problem.
so
It's the
maybe
entrepreneur's
we
life.
see
We
some.
know that.
Uh,
No problem.
right. So I think already Chris have shared a lot of things in this, venture that how we have started and then how we have, raised the funds, the technology. At the end, what I want to say is that it all starts from a good attitude. Okay. You should have a good attitude in terms of bringing the people, believing the people within you.
Hmm.
That is the very first part which which should be there in you. That is the first quality which should you have to bring the people, to bring in the confidence with the. You should have the confidence, and you should bring the confidence to the people. And that is the thing where that thing will come. Technology is the part where you can build, right? But the thing is that if you have a good vision, to complete that vision, complete and to be on track, you need a people, right?
Yes.
And when you will start, definitely it will be the time you will not be having the money, right? So what you have is that the only the one part there is a conviction and a good attitude towards your people, right? So that is the one part which we have. I think Utkarsh
Uh huh.
already spoke about that. We do have the quality maybe he is having more quality in terms of managing the
Correct.
people. I always engage with the technology.
True. True.
But he has a quality to convince to the people that okay, today we don't have money, but tomorrow we will be having some money, and please join us. And then probably you treat the people very well,
True.
right?
Yeah,
And then
right.
after that, if you want to make prototyping, making a
Mm.
technology, expanding, and then you have your funding. That is the later. That's the next part of it,
Yes. Correct.
right?
Correct.
The first part, in that you would have a very good attitude towards the people, and then majorly I cannot say about the thing that how he manages the people. So maybe he has a good quality to manage the people, to how to connect with the
Amazing.
people, and then making the stories, making the visions. So
Yeah,
that type of thing which connects us to, and we two have a good bonding. Maybe in the
right.
startup you should have a very good bonding, right?
Correct.
So maybe I will not talk about the technology. That is the thing which I feel that can be made, right? Anyhow, you will bring more people into building.
Correct. Correct.
But the best part is that the partners which you have, you should have a very good terms.
Right.
It's like a girlfriend. It's like definitely more than the girlfriend. You are
Yes.
sharing each and everything,
Yes.
right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. It's
So
much
in
needed.
morning when you are waking up, you are just calling him and just you are asking, hey, how are you? What's going on?
What's up?
And
What's
then
up,
when you
man?
are going to sleep, you are asking that, okay, what's tomorrow? So these things help you out in bringing confidence. And then probably the second part is that uh, when you are having a good duo, then probably if one of the partners is feeling low,
Mm-hmm.
and then probably you are there that okay, at last if someone, if everything will fail, we two will be there. We will sell chai, we will do agriculture, everything, anything we can do. That
Right.
type of system when you will make now, then probably you will feel like energetic, and then you will start enjoying the whole journey.
Correct.
Maybe you don't have a money and you don't have anything, but you will definitely enjoy being together,
The
talking
support.
about good things, making the people, bringing the people together. So that thing which I will say that these things are most necessary, and then building the technology, maybe expanding it, bringing the people, and then second thing is that
Mm-hmm.
if you are going to, because I am from the technical background,
Uh-huh.
so whenever you are talking about the technology, uh, you should go for the basics. Don't go for any bigger things that okay,
Correct.
just go for the macro things
Fundamentals.
first, okay, and go very simple. Yeah, fundamentals should be very very clear. Let's suppose the batteries. We start the batteries from the material, and just forget about the batteries. What is the basic element into your product? Just go for the basic element.
Right.
Rest of the things definitely you will join it. So that is the, I think most of the people they miss the basic fundamentals and they go for the macro things. That is the point where then because ultimately you have to go for the fundamentals. So it's better to go initially in the fundamentals and then increase to that level.
Oh, that's
So that is the thing which we carried forward. Until now, we are expert in materials. That's why we are able to do the extraction. We are
amazing.
going to get the technology. And be simple. That is the thing which I want to say. Be very simple. Be humble. And the
That's
rest of the
important.
things, most of the, and all the people will be there with you to connect you. That is the only one thing which I want to share. And your duo will be like I want to thank you, Chris, also that till so far we have a very good journey.
Yeah,
So
yeah. We have
yeah.
enjoyed every moment of it, to be honest.
Amazing. Amazing. I
And right
Yeah.
now it's a duo. I want to share that if any selection is there, let's suppose if you are giving 5 choices, definitely right now we are in the situation we will select we will select that one. Maybe the one which I will select, definitely he is going to select that one. Maybe if
Exactly.
we are not on the same time, so that
Yeah.
type of time it came and we know that what I want, what he wants, and then probably things going on
amazing.
automatically.
Amazing. So thank you so much, Vikrant, for sharing this valuable insights and knowledges. So I think yeah, 1 hour or 2 hour, 3 hour is not enough for getting those information.
Yeah.
But the way you spoken, the way you've given a point wise informations, I think we got a lot of it, and we will work on it. And thank you so much for the insights and knowledge. Thank you, and thank you for being in this session also.
Thank you.
I would also
Thank you so much.
sure. Thank you,
Yeah,
Vikrant.
Vikrant, your voice is yeah.
Yeah. So I would
Yeah,
also
yeah.
love to ask Professor Devendra Singh to tell something, to say something, because we are very 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 pleased to have you here.
I think Devinder sir
Is
is.
left or
I think he might have got some
yeah,
call or
yeah,
something.
something might be.
Okay, no
No
problem.
problem. So also to Professor Vinay Ningna. So anything you sir you want to
Yeah.
tell or give guidance to us?
I think it was very well covered, and you made it interesting too. And I think there were a lot of small stories Utkarsh shared, which was capped up by what his partner Vikrant stated. So I think it was a useful, interaction. And I would like to appreciate all of you. You made it interesting too, very interesting. Thanks to you too. Wonderful. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So we have two questions for you, Utkarsh. From
Yeah, yeah,
Ayush
please
Kumar,
go ahead.
I'm a first year student. What should be the starting point to develop entrepreneurship skill?
See, entrepreneurship, I would say, I will just give a very, very, different answer to it. Okay. I won't say entrepreneurship, I would say entrepreneurship is not a game of skill. Okay. Entrepreneurship is a game of an emotion. So we say, internally, there's a line that entrepreneurship is a feeling,
Hmm.
like any other feeling of love or any other feeling of happiness or that. So entrepreneurship is a feeling. So from today onwards, instead of thinking that you need to learn a skill, start believing that you are already an entrepreneur. Okay. And that is going to change your life because entrepreneur is not anyone different. Okay. He's just who is dedicated to a problem. So start identifying the problem and start thinking about the solution. That is the greatest skill you can develop to become an entrepreneur. To do that, I would suggest to all the youngsters to probably work very closely with any of the entrepreneurs you find in the nearby area or nearby or in your college, anywhere in your vicinity. Start interacting with them. Just try and understand their mindset. Entrepreneurship, you can never, go and read somewhere or learn somewhere. It's just the emotion that starts
Very
coming
true.
from inside. It is exactly like the emotion of love, I would say.
Correct.
So that's what I would say.
So I think that's a great answer and great session. Wrapping up the session. So thank you so much, Utkarsh, for being
Right.
here, and thank you so much, Master Yatra, for the platform. Thank you so much, all of you, for
Thank
attending
you.
and
Thank you. Thank you so much.
and that's a pleasure to be with you. And yes, Utkarsh, if anyone have any question or want to connect with Utkarsh or Vikrant,
Hmm.
just connect with us, or
Yeah.
we have a link, like a LinkedIn link here in the chat box.
Yeah, I've sent
Yeah,
the
in
link
the chat
also. Yeah.
box. So to connect with him, we are always with everyone, and thank you so much for supporting. See you next time.
Thank you.
Have a nice
See ya,
weekend.
guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, you too. Everyone stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.